And away we go.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions had an echo in so much space. And when you're out there without care, yeah, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? And all that you have in the time of your life would make twice. That's my only advice. Come on now, who do you think you are? Bless your soul. You really think you're in control?
Oh, do you?
Well,
Mm-hmm.
I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. Just like me. My hero and the heart told me that I would live. And all I remember is thinking I wanna be like them. Ever since I was little, it looked like fun.
Yes, it did.
There was no coincidence I found. And I could die when I'm done. But maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you're crazy. Maybe we're crazy.
And good morning, good evening, afternoon, depending on what part of the globe you're on and what time zone you are in. I'm your host, Skeptically Speaking. Thank you so much for joining. What a day, what a time we are having. Oh my goodness, I forgot my light. Damn it. Let's put the light back on because we're going to keep the light on for you. Hey. Does that wash me out? Probably. Okay, that's all right. Resume. Why in the world? Well, thank you so much for joining us. We are live on TikTok. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. If you'd rather join us on TikTok for a better viewing experience, you can hop right on over. The link is in the chat. But thank you so much for those who are lurking, those who are listening, those who just want to decompress from the week, from the day, from the month. We're going to look at some of the news on X, formerly known as Twitter. You know what? One of these days, I'm not going to even go on Twitter for news and updates. Why? Because we don't need it. We've got Blue Sky. Yes, we do. Yes, indeed. But thank you so much for joining us. Yes, please join us. If you're not on the team, please join the team. Hit that yellow orangish heart. Please join. Be a skeptic. Join the skeptic team. Please keep tapping the screen. We like for you to tap the screen. Please share the live. We would appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yes, for the cost of one TikTok coin, you could be a team member. Doesn't cost a lot. Thank you so much, Liz Ray. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. You get a shout out, and I'll try to keep an eye on those who join. I get an alert and then I see it and then it disappears. So I just happened to catch that one. And maybe we'll do guests towards the end of the show. But first, let's get into the news. Why am I wearing a green shirt? It literally blends right into the green screen. Now I look like a head on a stick if you're watching on YouTube. Anyway, if you're watching on Facebook, I am sorry. They do not offer any options as far as green screen. It's a shame. It's a shame. What's that? Instagram does the same thing. They offer nothing in the way of amenities. At least TikTok gives you, 666 hearts. Thank you. Oh, damn it. I should have screenshot that. I probably would have interrupted the live. Thank you for the 666 likes. Now we're up to 700. Well, thank you. Keep tapping that screen. Well, it has been a week. It has been a day. It has been a month. What do we have? We have a dad on TikTok. He has a very, very long, no, it's called Select Short Stories. You can follow him on TikTok. So we're going to listen to what he has to say. And I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. So if you are on YouTube, you'll be able to see my screen. It's a shame they don't let me do this. It's a shame they won't let me share the screen on TikTok. But here we go. Do you agree with this dad? Tell me in the comments. Now, this is a dad who has a story to tell from someone who shared it with him. Let's hear what he has to say.
You fucked around with your vote. Now it's time you found out. Am I the asshole for cutting off my sons financially after they voted for Trump? I, 52 male, have two sons, Isaac, 22 male, and John, 20 male. My wife and I have always leaned left politically, and we've raised our kids to value equality, compassion, and critical thinking. We've had countless family discussions about politics and the impact of policies on people's lives. So you can imagine my shock when I found out after this last election that both of my sons voted for Trump. It came out during a casual family dinner when I asked, "So, who'd you guys vote for?" expecting them to either dodge the question or name one of the candidates aligned with our values. Isaac shrugged and said, "Trump. His policies just make the most sense right now." John chimed in, "Yeah, I mean, he's about protecting the economy. People like us need someone who gets that." I stared at them, stunned. "People like us?" I asked. "Boy, you've never paid for a single tank of gas, let alone rent or tuition. What exactly do you mean by that?" Isaac rolled his eyes. "Dad, I'm studying business. Trump's pro-business. It's not that deep." "It's plenty deep," I snapped. "You're backing someone who's gutted protections for the environment, undermined health care, and actively targeted marginalized communities." John shook his head. "You're just looking at the negatives. He's strong on immigration and keeping jobs here." The conversation spiraled into a heated debate. I couldn't understand how they, having grown up with every advantage I could provide, could support someone who champions policies that harm so many.
One more time. Uh-oh. Oh, what a place to pause. Here we go. Let's go back it up a little bit. So in case you're following along, he's reading a story about his two sons who decided to vote for Trump, basically voted in favor of taking rights away from his mother and any potential girlfriends they would have, probably not anymore because they turned out so shitty. But basically he's like, well, listen, you want to fuck around? Well, you're going to find out.
Policies that harm so many people. That night, I thought about how much my wife and I had sacrificed to give them opportunities. I worked extra hours to cover their tuition so they wouldn't have student loans. I paid for their gas, car insurance, and even groceries. And this is what they choose to do with that privilege? A few days later, I told them my decision. "If you want to support Trump's policies, you should also live by them," I said. "From now on, you'll need to cover your own tuition, rent, and living expenses. Maybe then you'll understand the real world impact of the policies you are endorsing. Isaac was furious. Are you serious, Dad? You're just cutting us off because we disagree with you politically. It's not about disagreement, I said firmly. It's about accountability. You voted for someone who's against student loan forgiveness, so take out loans. You support someone who doesn't believe in raising the minimum wage, so get a job that pays what it pays and figure it out. John looked hurt. You're being petty. This isn't how you change someone's mind. This isn't about changing your mind, I replied. It's about giving you a dose of reality. FAFO ain't just some cool hashtag you and your little friends use. It means there are consequences to your actions. Political choices have consequences. You're adults now. It's time to act like it. You fucked around with your vote. Now it's time you found out. My wife thinks I'm being too harsh. She worries this will damage our relationship with them long term. She said, they're young. They're still figuring out their beliefs. Beliefs have consequences, I told her. They made a choice. Now they'll learn what that choice means. Some of my friends agree with me, saying it's a fair wake-up call. Others think I'm letting politics come between family and being unnecessarily cruel. So, am I the asshole for cutting off my sons financially because of their political choices? You know, you got a good point. I don't think you're the asshole. I think you're going to let them find out what they fucked around with, their vote. And voting has consequences.
You know, what's interesting to me is the party of personal responsibility hates it when they're being held responsible. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that weird? Isn't that wild? It's like, oh my God, we're getting pushback for our beliefs. Well, yeah. Well, it's not so much what you believe, it's that you acted on it. You acted on your belief, and now it does affect others. It affects other people around you, and it affects yourself. Imagine voting for a candidate that is going to enrich his billionaire buddies and make the working poor even poorer and put even more burdens on the working class. You don't think that doesn't have consequences? Where do we get this idea that our choices won't affect us and won't affect others? Where did we get this idea that we could just go through life blasé and it not affect us? From whence comes this delusion? From whence comes this astronomically idiotic view of the world? I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. So Mila Joy, I've seen her before. She strikes again. She writes, when I was growing up in the 1970s and the 1980s, no one saw color. We were all just Americans. Why did that change? Michael Harriet responded back. She lives in Spokane, Washington. Until the 2000s, the city was 95% white. The black population was less than 1%. Black until 1990, and they still had segregated neighborhoods. She's not lying. She literally didn't see color. Yeah, because she wasn't around it. She wasn't exposed to it. Thank you very much for joining. So it's amazing to me how these people think that, why can't we go back to the 70s and 80s? And what they're actually saying is when black people were not around to be seen. You saw them once in a great while. That's what they're talking about when they say, let's go back. Let's go back. It's like, where do you want to go? Tiny Danny, thank you. Well, hello, Sweet Pea. Thank you so much for joining us. What did you think about the video we just watched?
Well, first of all, hello, Skeptical. And hello, everyone else. He wasn't wrong. There's only so much of beating a dead and alive horse that we can take. Some of these Trump fans, that's what they are, Trump fans. I refuse to call them supporters because usually supporters are able to critically think. And I'm sorry if this kind of hurts people's fifis, but, facts don't care about your feelings and all that.
You would
They
think.
kind of chuck that in our faces quite a lot. Yeah. So, yeah, you've decided that you wanted to support a dictator, a racist, a rapist, a totally vile, disgusting human being. He is like lower than the bottom of the barrel. He is absolutely ugh. So yeah, I'm going to call them Trump fans. That's what they are. They're fans at this point, buying all this memorabilia for Trump and then complaining they haven't got money to feed and sort of eat. And so it's illogical. It doesn't make any critical sort of sense why. But he's not wrong. They have decided to support this person. So we do not have to engage with them if we do not wish to. That is our choice, and they should respect that.
Well, amen, and that deserves a round of applause. So what's interesting now on TikTok is you have these sound effects. You can you can
Ooh.
add. So
I think soundboard.
it's literally on the TikTok app. That's interesting. So I can do clapping, I can do cheering, laughter, kiss, booing, heartbeat, wow, scream, magic, triumph, fail, awkward, whistle. Interesting. Okay. But yeah, I mean, and then this tweet here from Mila Joy, it's like, yeah, they want to go back to the 70s and 80s when Black people were less of a problem for them. And what I mean by problem, what I'm saying is they were just around. They were around. Yes, please keep tapping the screen, sharing the live, and put FYP in the chat. Hashtag FYPF1. I'd appreciate that. So yeah, and while you're doing that, so William A. Goldsberg says, why are people becoming so unhinged at how unbothered Black people, particularly Black women, have become? Remember, you called us DEI hires, reverse racist, shills, and all the things. Now y'all mad because we're like, y'all got it? It's all above me now. This is what y'all wanted, right? So, yeah, that's accurate. I mean, they tried warning us. They tried saying, hey, if Trump gets back in office, here's what he's going to do and here's what he wants to accomplish. And we didn't listen. The same Democrats that showed up for Joe Biden did not show up for Kamala Harris. And so now we get to live with and hey, even that has consequences. If you stayed home on election day, you get the fruit of your inaction. Or if you voted third party, here's what you're going to get. This is what to expect. Trump gained 95,000 votes in New York City. Democrats lost 500,000. Let's listen to candidate Tiff again. Here we go. Go ahead.
Spooky. Hi, Spooky. Sorry, I had to interrupt you so I could say hello to our friend Spooky.
Okay, well, hello, Spooky. Spooky bed hair. Oh, there he is. I keep forgetting. I'm like, which app are you on? Oh, yeah, that's right. YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah. So, all right, let's listen to Candidly Tiff. Here we go.
So this is a New York Times headline from this morning. It says, Trump gained 95,000 votes in New York City. Democrats lost 500,000. Of course, Kamala Harris obviously won New York. She won by 11.8%, but she should have won way more if people showed up. Based on what it says here, 573,600 people who voted for Joe Biden in 2020 did not vote again for Kamala Harris in 2024.
That is 500,000. That's over 500,000 drop in voters in New York City, Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Bronx, Staten Island. All of New York City, it adds up to 573,000 votes. Trump gained 94,000. And we wonder why Republicans win. When Democrats do not show up to vote, Republicans win. Why? We outnumber them 5-1 when we show up. But you got to show up.
We can see here that Trump gained about 94,600 votes. Now, all votes have not been counted, but it is about 97% vote counted. One of the things that's impacting this is that from 2020 to 2024, we know that there are 230,000 less registered Democrats in the city of New York. Why was that? Pandemic, cost of living. There's plenty of reasons why people have moved. I don't know where the people moved to, but apparently they've moved. The larger question is, why didn't people show up? This was an important election. People should have shown up, and it's New York. So I have a couple of reasons why. One is because people in blue states assume that everyone else is going to show up. So they're like, you know what? It doesn't really matter. All the other Democrats are going to show up. Why do I even need to be bothered? That is a symptom of the electoral college, because we all know the popular vote doesn't really matter. So that's why those numbers are much lower. The other thing is, in 2020, people were sent mail-in ballots, and that required them to do nothing but sit in their house. They didn't have nothing else to do but fill out the ballot and send it in. 2024, they would have to go to the polls, or they could have requested one, but that takes a little bit too much effort for people to actually go and request. You know what?
Hashtag FYP F1 in the chat, please.
I mean, it's not automatically sent to them. There are also just apathetic voters, people that just don't care about politics. And those people that Democrats need to reach going forward. We need to figure out why those people don't want to vote and talk to them, because a lot of people just are desensitized to politics. They're like, you know what, those people are not going to do anything for me. And those are the people that usually complain. And they're like, politics, I vote, nothing changes, blah, blah, blah. These are the things that people say. We cannot sit here and act like we haven't heard them. Okay. Of course, there are other reasons. There's people that didn't vote because of misogyny. There's reasons people didn't vote because of racism. You can name a whole litany, the economy, there's all kinds of reasons. But at the end of the day, if the Democratic Party wants to win elections, they are going to have to reach out to people who are apathetic and get them to vote. And New York cannot flip to the red side. New Jersey was no different. Connecticut was no different. Massachusetts, there was some apathy. Maryland, we had some apathy. So all across the northern, the northeastern seaboard, you saw this happening. And Democrats got to figure out how to fix this. We can talk about working class voters all day, but it's not working class voters. It's working people. Working people. People are tired of working and getting nothing for their votes. And yes, I always vote. That is a given. People like me look at voting as a duty, a civil duty. Other people look at it as a chore. So those are people that we got to connect to and figure out how to win them over even slightly just to get them to vote. So New York, I'm gonna need y'all to get y'all shit together, because y'all don't want to have another George Pataki or another Rudolph Giuliani. We have been here before. So stop bullshitting.
Correct. And this is the apathy that gets people that you do not want in office. This is how this is how Rudy Giuliani or Mayor Adams gets elected, is when good people who know better stay home on election day. This is how it happens. And as far as appealing,
this is the New York Times headline from this morning. It says,
excuse me. And the thing is, appealing to the working class, I'm so sick and tired of hearing certain Democrats say, oh, they've lost the working class. Well, first of all, hold on. Black people, last time I checked, are part of the working class. They did not lose the working class. They lost the white voters. That's what it was. And I will say it with my full chest. I believe it was racism. I don't care. You figured out a way to justify your indecision or your decision to flip from Democrat to Republican. This is what you did. And now we get 4 more years of Trump and clown car posse. Congratulations. Now, here's another example of your votes having consequences. Here is a healthcare worker who would like to share a few thoughts with us. So it looks like Georgia had a investigative panel. They were investigating mortality deaths for maternal mortality deaths, women who were unaliving in exponential numbers, very high alarming numbers. So they had a panel to investigate. And once they reached a conclusion as to why, ProPublica, a very good source for information, got a hold of the report and published it. And what did Georgia do? They dismissed the entire panel and squashed everything. Here we go.
I warned that this would happen. I wrote about this in my book. This is how they cover up our deaths. You probably remember the ProPublica investigation into the deaths of 2 women in Georgia who were killed by the state's abortion ban, Amber Nicole Thurman and Candy Miller. In response to that reporting, do you think that Georgia changed the law? Do you think that they tried to make sure that pregnant people were safe? No. Instead, they fired every single person on that maternal mortality review committee, a committee that found a connection between those women's deaths and the state's ban. They fired them all. This is how they cover up our deaths. In Idaho, they disbanded the committee entirely. In Texas, they put an anti-abortion extremist on there. This is how they do it, with bureaucracy and bad data.
What do you think, Sweet Pea?
I think she's correct. I think, yeah,
Auntie
she's not wrong.
Auntie Killjoy on TikTok, if you wanted to follow.
Oh, yes, I will follow her after. I will. I'm tapping on your live at the moment.
That's okay. But yeah, isn't it amazing to me how, I mean, when they say they do not care about women, they are telling you the truth. They do not care if
Oh, they are.
live or if they die.
Nope.
They literally had a panel that
Do you know what they
investigated.
care about?
What do they care about?
They care about having power over women and how much money they can make.
Well, and it doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter if they live or die. That's the whole thing. It's like, well, there'll be others. And here's the results of this decision to not care. Vasectomies are going through the roof right now. They've gone up 12,000%. Hysterectomies, tube tying, IUDs have gone way up. Guess what's going to happen once you stop prioritizing women? You're going to have less babies being born. Women are not going to feel comfortable starting families. You know, this is what happens when you decide, oh, well, whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me personally. See, this is what I mean. Your vote, your decision-making has consequences. And because of that, more women are going to unalive because of this. And it's just going to keep happening and keep happening. Unbelievable. Trump supporters get obliterated. Well, of course.
It is unbelievable.
Let's go ahead and listen to, let me see, Good Trouble. He's pretty decent. Let's listen to what he has. He's also on TikTok. Here, let's listen to what he has to say.
If I hear one post about how we didn't vote to protect women's rights, 17 minutes Lakin Riley struggled for her life while it was being taken from her. And these people, you all want to roll around here, shaving your heads and complaining about rights that you haven't lost.
You want to know a hard truth, James? This is going to require a trigger warning for my audience. Had Lakin Riley survived and just been impregnated by this monster who attacked her, you would be demanding that she deliver the baby.
Isn't that ironic? That's ironic. These MAGA chodes want to pretend that they care. They want to pretend like they care about like women getting essayed and getting attacked. They pretend like they care, but they don't. Because at the same time, out of one side of their mouth, they'll talk about women getting attacked by an undocumented immigrant, and then they'll go to the left side and say, oh, well, but you don't have a right to your own body. Now you've got to deliver the rapist baby.
You don't give a shit about her or women. You're using her as a political pawn to demonize immigrants. Do you know how I know? Because thousands of women have died in America at the hands of U.S. born citizens since Laken Riley died, and not a fucking peep about them.
Exactly. They don't talk about the women getting essayed by white men, do they? They don't bring it up. It's like it never happens. It's like, well, you know, what can we do about it? But the moment an undocumented person does that, oh, now it's a problem. Do you see the problem with that?
Why do you think that is? Despite Laken Riley's family begging for you people to knock this shit off, you continue to use her as a fucking pawn.
Yeah, and the family has come out since then saying, hey, stop using the unalivement of our daughter as a pawn, as a cudgel. Yeah, Trump is putting some real interesting characters in office. And you know what's amazing to me? This leads me to my second point. They don't care about women because look at who is getting put in Trump's cabinet. People that have attacked women, people who are sex fiends, pests, people who are just absolutely just they tortured animals. What else? What else have they done? I mean, it's just a whole litany. It's like, or they're involved in the cover-up of attack of women. Isn't that amazing? That should tell you everything right then and there. They want to talk about Laken Riley, but then they voted for a rapist, also known as Donald Trump. And I'll stand 10 toes down. I'll stand 10 toes down. I don't give a damn. This guy is a pervert and a creep who owned underage beauty pageants and walked in on them because I have a right. I have a right to do this. I'm just there to inspect them. And he brags about attacking women. Oh, when you're rich, they let you do it too. I just move in on them and I can't help myself. I did it. Grab them by the, it's like unbelievable. And this is who you voted for.
Why? Looks down the barrel and tells women, you're not losing any rights. It would be very easy for me to tell you the names of women who have died under the new abortion laws here in America. But I, unlike you, do not want to desecrate their fucking memory by letting you throw dirt on their fucking names, you monster.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They only care when it's politically convenient for them. Oh, and do you have any thoughts to add, P?
No, he's completely correct. They really don't care as long as it doesn't have any sort of real life effect on them. They play in both sides. I bet those same people are probably sort of reporting those young girls were going in to get can I say the A word? AB?
Mm-hmm.
And collecting their $10,000 sort of blood money.
Yeah, here's another account. If you follow him, let me see if I can getting a lot of wind on your end. Okay, let's listen to I can't see his name. Here we go.
This is some really shocking and extremely disappointing news. We know of at least 2 Black women who lost their lives because of Georgia's abortion ban. 2 women that we know lost their lives as a direct result of Georgia's abortion ban. And we know of these women because the information was shared publicly 2 years after their death. Now, the Maternal Mortality Review Committee, a group of 32 experts who investigated their deaths, who found that the abortion ban was at fault, who provided the people of Georgia and their families the truth, they have all been dismissed, relieved of duty. This was done today, on a day where people were debating Trump's cabinet picks and other things to which they have no say. No say, no say, because your vote was your say. I can only imagine what other vile actions are being taken in Republican-led states by vile Republican leaders while the people look away, wasting time on conjecture and pointlessness. Please know that 49% of pregnancy-related deaths in Georgia are Black women. Black women, just like Amber, just like Candy. You may wonder what can be done about this decision. Very little, very little. I will be watching to see if nonprofits raise awareness, if civil rights groups raise awareness. I mean, you can tag them here, like tag them. Demand that they use their voice and their resources to call attention to what Governor Brian Kemp is doing. But other than that, I can't think of a whole lot. Do you really think that a Trump DOJ will investigate any case like this in the future? Do you really think that a Trump Health and Human Services Department will give any guidance on a case like this? Elections have consequences, and those consequences, I'm afraid, are just beginning.
Yep. Yep. And we're going to get more of this. And this isn't just happening to Black women. This is happening to white women and we know this because white women get all the press. They get all the press. I mean, they're all over the place. The woman in Texas, there was a woman in, can't remember the state. Maybe it was Georgia. I can't remember. Somebody in the chat remind me. But yeah, there was a woman who she already had children, and she had complications with the last pregnancy that she had, and she had to actually flee the state. And she's running for office now. I don't know if she won. You know what? I don't think she won. Bro, virtue signals, hoping a woman will like him for it. I see it so often. It's sad. Well, yeah, that is true. Especially MAGA. They try to virtue signal that they care for women, and then they vote directly against their interests. Please share the live. Please tap the screen. I would appreciate it. Let's get up to 10,000 likes. We've already been going. How long have we been going? 30, almost 40 minutes. Let's tap that screen. Let's invite, please.
Yeah.
Join the skeptics. Join the skeptics team. Hit that orange. Hit that orange heart.
Did you know that you have to have your VPN activated for 60 days before you'll actually register in a different country?
Oh, really? 2 months.
You could try. I know you could try adding me to the chat again, but I don't know if it'll let you. But I have got my VPN active.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Why they would do something like
It
that?
is.
Anyway, let's move on. Okay, so Texas wants to teach the Bible to hungry kids. Yeah, the Bible is a joke. This is exactly it. This meme right here.
The Bible's not going to feed you.
It's okay
not going to feed you when
if
you're
God
hungry.
is okay with murder, rape, slavery, incest, and land invasion, then who the fuck is Satan? Okay, back to my business. Yeah, I mean, they keep telling me how bad Satan is, but God is the leading cause of unalivement in the Bible, if we want to get biblical. But yeah, anyway, but that's just me. What do I know? Okay, Texas wants to teach the Bible to hungry kids. Yeah, let's just pump the kids' head with the Bible while we ignore what the Bible even says.
Texas wants to teach the Bible in schools, but they don't want to feed hungry kids breakfast and lunch. Do they really want to put their hypocrisy on full display? What will they do when they get to the part of the Bible where it says that we should feed the hungry? And then some
Liberals,
kid raises his hand and says,
communists.
I'm hungry. I don't have any lunch money. Are they going to tell that kid that he should go get a job or that his parents should do better in life? They don't want to teach the Bible. They want to teach control. They want to teach these kids to obey without thinking for themselves. The state of Texas watched children and parents drown just because they were born on the other side of some imaginary line. That doesn't sound like teachings of the Bible to me either. So good luck with that.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I mean, that's how we're all feeling right now when we're trying to make sense of this insanity. This, well, we got to teach the kids morals and the Bible, and yet we ignore everything that's in it, except the ones that give the men power. Yeah, we're gonna hold on to that. We'll keep that. All right, please keep tapping that screen. We're almost to 6,000. Here we go. Let's get to 6,000. Okay, moving right along. Whew, MAGA and their mental gymnastics. Oh, here's a good one. Undocumented immigrants are not responsible for your lot. That is correct. Stop blaming undocumented immigrants for your failings.
I have said this before, and I will say this again. As a U.S. born citizen, with all of the opportunities that all of us have open to us to get a driver's license, to work where we want, live where we want, pretty much do what we want, if you think the presence of an undocumented immigrant is the reason why you're behind in life, or you feel that you are not as successful as you think that you should be, that is the most piss poor, embarrassing ass excuse. I would be so embarrassed to get up here like some of y'all and fix my lips to say that someone that does not speak English and does not have a driver's license is ahead of me in life. That person is not ahead of you because they are undocumented. They are ahead of you because they work 7 days a week and spend their money responsibly. Every time y'all go to the grocery store on Sundays, you're pissed off when you see the large Hispanic families spending cash on their groceries, and it gets a knot in your ass, and you absolutely refuse to look in the mirror and say, I don't keep a stable job, I mooch off my parents. It's always those of y'all that are absolute bums, like not productive members of society, as you have the ability to be as a born U.S. citizen, that want to sit up here and act like the presence of undocumented workers that pick and harvest literally all the food that you eat and do all the construction that you see around your town are supposedly the people that are hindering you in life, when in reality, you're just a fucking loser and you have no fucking work ethic.
Well, you know what? I can't say boo to that. Oh my God. You know, it's amazing. We find excuses for ourselves for every damn thing. Doesn't matter. It's like, do you not understand that, your choices have consequences? You made your choice. So now you got to deal with the consequences of those choices. And you're upset by it. You're upset by it. How does that even work? All right, one last video from Too Raw to Real. It's been a while since we've heard from Kenny. Let's go ahead and put him on.
I think America needs to come to the realization that Donald Trump is a manifestation of who we truly are. Because I'm sick of you guys making excuses on why you voted for a fascist and a racist. It's interesting to me that people want to talk about morality while exuding supremacy. You want to talk about how Kamala Harris ran a campaign based off of identity politics when she never talked about her race, nor did she talk about her gender. But that's what you see. What you see is her gender. What you see is her race, which brings it back to your racism. Donald Trump was able to win because he preyed on people's prejudice. He preyed on people's implicit bias. He preyed on the hatred in people's heart and the differences that keep us all apart. Isn't it funny how we'll sit here and rattle off all the things we say that we stand for, but as soon as shit don't go our way, we subject people to the same level of violence that we say that we're against. Let a content creator that you say that you love and that you follow, whether they're queer, black, etc., right? As soon as they say something that you don't like, you start saying the most anti-black, the most homophobic, transphobic things that you've always felt in your heart, that now you have an excuse to say just because they said something that you don't like. Well, I voted for Trump because of the economy. Well, name the policy that he ran off of on his platform that would actually benefit the economy. Name it, because tariffs would actually decrease consumer buying power and make the price of goods skyrocket. So it's never been about inflation. And the reason why I know it's not about inflation, because I was just at the mall and it was wall to damn wall. You guys talking about how you can't pay for eggs, but yet you can pay for that new PlayStation for Timmy. You'll sit here and say that you can't afford this, but yet you going on trips. Every flight that I took on was full, packed to the fucking brim. We was like sardines in a goddamn can. I think the real problem is that the first time in our lives, people of color have actually been prioritized within the Biden-Harris administration, which is probably cover the reason why you guys attack DEI, why y'all attack diversity, equity, inclusion, and why you guys continuously keep focused on identity politics. Because for the first time, policies have actually been used to benefit people of color. And even though it is geared to help us, it also helps you too. And the sad thing about it is all these social service policies that also benefit white people, like Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, affordable housing, affordable health care. You guys are so hateful in your hearts that you would rather eliminate just so that you can discriminate. And I know I'm griping on Pasty Pale Mafia, but this ain't just about them. I mean, people of color, particularly other people of color, not black folks as much, but every other group and every other diaspora, to figure out why is it that black people can turn out and vote on the right side of history from 80% to 92%, but you guys can't. Why is it that you guys want to be in the proximity of white supremacy? What is it about whiteness that seems so righteous? How do you think that finding commonality with an enemy that doesn't even recognize your humanity is going to somehow propel you in a higher position of power? Do you really think they're going to be too distracted by immigrants and black people and queer and LGBT communities that they're not going to be keen focused on you? Well, let me tell you something. Conservatives can walk and chew bubblegum at the same damn time. You know, some hit dogs about to holler in my comments saying, well, not all white people or not all some people of color. Well, here's the thing. If it don't apply, let it damn fly. That means I'm not talking to you. Or am I? The last thing I want to say in this video is we need to focus on education and comprehension. People will sit here and say that Kamala Harris ran a campaign for smart people, the elite class of the educated, the ones who have these degrees and all these other things. First of all, I don't have a fucking degree in the goddamn world. I'll just have a fucking high school diploma, okay? Why is it that I understand how government works? Am I a fucking expert? No, but I understand the basics and I understand civics. But here's the thing. We are grown. If you're over the age of 18, that means you're grown. That means you have a responsibility that's placed on you to be civically involved and educated on how policy works and how it affects your damn lives. It is up to you to get the information because Google is free. We have a fucking smartphone in our hands. There is no fucking excuse on why we can't say that I do not know when Google is free and is readily available. There is no excuses. We are fucking grown. If you can pay for your goddamn bills, if you can get dick or get pussy, then your ass can go on fucking Google and read a goddamn policy. That's just that on that. Okay, you want somebody to knock on your door and baby you and do the fucking work for you, but that's not the way life works. I do not understand who the fuck raised this generation of people or raised you for you to think that somehow that somebody's going to grab your hand and walk you through life. That is not the way this fucking goes. We came on this earth by our motherfucking selves and we will die by our motherfucking selves. So sometimes you have to start doing things for your fucking self.
I have no words. I mean, I think he hit all the points. He hit all the points.
He did hit.
We don't have an excuse. Go ahead.
I was like, sorry, I dropped my internet. This storm is like completely messing with the internet.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, we're gonna.
And he hit all the points.
Yeah, we're gonna cut it short today. Next next Sunday, I've just got to make myself get on here earlier. I think that that's going to have a more positive effect on the viewership. I think I've got to get started earlier. It's just getting too late. It's either too late or too early. That's the thing. See, if I go
maybe next week,
right? If I were to go late, say 10 or 11 p.m., I'd hit a whole nother audience.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just a little dead. Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. But yeah, please share the live and please join the Skeptic team by hitting the orange heart. Join the Skeptic team. Love to have you. Price of a TikTok coin. Thank you so much. And that way we can prioritize your comments. All right. Well, this was I liked it. This was an okay live. We did well. We did okay. Eventually, what I'm going to
we did good.
I'm going to start showcasing Blue Sky.
Okay.
So I'm over there at Blue Sky. If you're over there, follow me at Skeptically Speaking. You'll find me there. If you're on Facebook, you can find. I have my TikTok link in the live. You can connect with me on TikTok there, or you can join me on Blue Sky. X is going the way of the dodo bird. So, here's another thing I was going to get at. Do we have time? You know what? Let's make time. So, in Beverly Hills, California, there was a high school the week of the 2024 election. A mob of kids with Trump flags on a pole with Trump clothing and MAGA hats stormed the halls. In recent weeks, Black students have been targets of racism, say they've been called racial slurs. They've seen racist graffiti scrawled across the walls of the restrooms. And it's getting emboldened. This is the kind of bullshit that these kids are exposed to at home. So it doesn't surprise me why they would bring it to school and be public with their racism. This is from Fox 11.
Investigations are underway at Beverly Hills High School following claims of racial intimidation.
I'm going to tell you how scary it was.
This is what Bella Ivory is talking about. She's a fashion teacher at Beverly Hills High School who says on the day of the election, there was a mob going.
A fashion teacher? Did I hear that correctly? A fashion teacher at a high school.
Of the election, there was a mob going down the hallway. Teacher at Beverly Hills High School, Ivory is talking about. She's a fashion teacher at Beverly Hills High School who says on the day of the election, there was a mob going down the hallway.
It was just mob of kids, just so many kids outside my door. And they had one had a Trump flag on a pole, on a flagpole. Another, it was just so many of them. Some of them had on MAGA hats. Some, had on just Trump fans apparel.
She says someone tried to open her classroom door, says it upset some of her students.
At this school, I've had to deal with a lot of racism.
But at a recent school board meeting, students talked about how scared they were, given what happened outside Bella Ivory's classroom during election week.
And it became utterly impossible to just ignore it. From 8:30 to 2:30 all week, being at school felt like being in a nightmare. What the Black students and Miss Bella had to deal with that week had absolutely nothing to do with politics. That week, being stormed, being called the N-word, being shunned, all because you were Black, became the normal.
In recent weeks, I have seen racial slurs scrawled across the walls of our bathrooms, hateful rhetorics being spoken by fellow students in the hallways we share, and violent behavior towards Miss Bella and our club.
Bella Ivory also spoke at the board meeting.
They looked so frightened. Then I said, I'm not going to open the door. And then the student said, they look like KKK.
The district tells Fox 11, we remain deeply committed to upholding a secure and conscientious setting where students can responsibly and considerably engage in the democratic process.
Wow. Yes, it can't happen here. The 1950s, the 40s, the 30s, that's in the past. You keep going to the past. You keep focusing on the past. Why do you keep doing that? It's fucking here. It's here. We're reliving the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s. Because we've got parents that never left. This is where we're at in this country. This is where we're at. And we wonder why. We wonder why we can't. And you wonder why it's so hard to get good people elected to office, because you've got jackasses like this, and they're going to grow up and have stupid kids, and they're going to reinforce these bad mindsets. You think it can't happen here? It's happening. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You think it can't happen here? I got news for you. Sweet Pea,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I have no words how disgusting that is, not to mention how scary that is for the students that are in that classroom. I mean, like I said, it's not the 1950s or the 1940s. This should not be happening today. This is disgusting beyond words. And it is up to white people to get this sorted out. This is a predominantly white person problem and they need to get this sorted out. Racism today has no business in any society.
You would think. Anybody listening who'd like to join the TikTok panel, jump on board. Let me see if I can connect this speaker. Hopefully we can connect. Yikes, that was a bad idea. Wonder what happened. Okay, maybe we can't do that. All right. Wonder what caused that loop. That's weird. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we can do Sunday night invites. That's not gonna work. Oh well.
It's a shame.
Okay, well listen, I'm gonna add the closing music. We will see you all next Sunday, and if I can do a live during the week, I'll see you then.
Okay, just let me know. Thank you for having me.
All right, take care, everybody.
Even your emotions had an echo and so much space. And when you're out there without care, yeah, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly. And all that you have in the time of your life would think twice. That's my only advice. Come on now, who do you think you are? Bless your soul. You really play your infant doll? Well, I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. Just like you. My hero and the heart told me like I live. And all I remember is thinking
Good night, everybody.